It wasn't clouds or ash. No weather pattern moved like that. The satellites were the first to notice. Then the telescopes on Mars confirmed it. An object the size of a small moon had entered Earth's orbit, silent and unchallenged. It didn't match any known alien signatures catalogued in the first contact decade. It hung above Earth, a colossal disk of black alloy and pulsing geometry, its surface unreadable by radar, its mass distorting tides. The world paused. Then it spoke. Across every channel, every screen, every transmission frequency, a voice layered in dozens of dialects delivered a single message. Calm, measured, inescapable. People of Earth, you are summoned. In 7 of your planetary rotations, surrender your authority to the Galactic Council. Integration will be peaceful. Compliance ensures survival. Resistance ensures extinction. You have 7 days. In the fortified depths of New Geneva's Terran Command Bunker, the world's last unified leadership gathered. The bunker, once a symbol of post-collapse cooperation, now echoed with unease. Holograms of cities, fleets, and alien schematics hovered above the table. Admiral Elena Ramirez stood with arms folded, gaze locked on the orbital projection of the alien ship. She hadn't slept. Neither had anyone else. "Do we know what species they are?" asked Chancellor Nyambi, voice taut. "Unclear," replied General Qureshi. "No matches in the first contact registry. Tech is decades ahead. Cloaked entry, zero radiation, mass distortion field. They dropped that thing into orbit like a calling card," Ramirez said, voice steady. "They want us to feel small." President Makov cleared his throat. "We need to respond. Diplomatically. This could be a misunderstanding." "They didn't ask," Ramirez said. "They gave a deadline." Murmurs rose. Some nodded. Others looked away. Politics still mattered, even when annihilation loomed. "Let's consider what's at stake," said Minister Ilyanova. "They promise peace. If surrender ensures the survival of our species, slavery ensures survival too," Ramirez snapped. "They're not offering alliance. They're demanding obedience." Silence settled over the chamber. "They'll crush us," murmured a delegate from the Oceanic Alliance. "We're a primitive planet compared to their reach." "We're not primitive," Ramirez said. "We're unpredictable. That terrifies them." President Makov raised his voice. "Enough. Ramirez, if we refuse, what's our actual capability to resist?" Ramirez didn't blink. "Limited. But not hopeless. We've prepared for this." A moment passed. "I want to vote," Makov said. "Emergency defense powers. To be granted to a single command authority." They knew what he meant. One by one, hands rose. Some reluctantly, others firm. Hours later, Ramirez stood in the command center, a glass-paneled nerve of screens and incoming feeds. Earth's military was vast, scattered, untested. Mars was quiet. Europa's mining colonies were offline. AI support systems, still under heavy restrictions, blinked amber. She turned to her aide, Captain Raj Malik. "Activate blackout protocols on orbital defense systems. Quiet mode only. I want everything online without lighting a match." "Yes, Admiral. And patch me through to Mars. I want OSE on a secure channel. No leaks." As Malik moved, Ramirez stared at the orbital feed again. The alien ship remained perfectly still. Not even thrusters pulsed. A monument of silent dominance. "Admiral," Malik returned. "We have a diplomatic transmission. Direct line. It's them." Her jaw clenched. "Text or voice?" "Voice. Personal. They're asking for you." Ramirez stepped into the sealed comms chamber. Alone. The screen flickered. A figure emerged, tall, insect, armored in a glistening exosuit of subtle shifting color. Eyes like black orbs stared through her. "Admiral Elena Ramirez," the voice intoned. It was sharp, metallic, precise. "I am Counselor Virex Dalzen. I speak on behalf of the Galactic Council. You understand the stakes?" "I do," Then you understand surrender is mercy. Refusal is entropy. We've been offered mercy before. It always came with shackles. You are a young species. Capable. Ambitious. Dangerous. You cannot be allowed to destabilize order. You fear instability. We call it freedom. Freedom is a primitive myth. Survival is truth. We've survived worse than myths. 7 cycles remain. Do not let pride extinguish your kind. The transmission cut. Ramirez stepped back into the main chamber. Her officers waited expectant. They've made it clear, she said. They don't want peace. They want submission. We won't give it to them. No one objected. Effective immediately, I am activating the Terran Defense Initiative. Every silence system, every deep bunker, every orbital gun, we bring it all online. Quietly. We have 7 days to prepare for hell. Malek looked pale. And diplomacy? There's no more diplomacy. Only planning. A pause. Ramirez turned to the screen showing Earth, a brilliant blue world hanging under a shadow. They think they're gods, she murmured. Let's remind them what humans do to gods. The shuttle rose from Earth under absolute silence. No escort. No weapon signatures. No sudden maneuvers. The Galactic Council had requested a single passenger, Admiral Elena Ramirez. The ascent felt wrong. The alien vessel eclipsed the stars, a vast geometric mass suspended above the planet like a verdict waiting to fall. As the shuttle neared, the hull shimmered, not metallic, not organic, but something in between, as though matter itself had been persuaded into obedience. Docking corridor established, the shuttle AI reported. Atmospheric compatibility confirmed. Ramirez stood before the airlock. She wore no ceremonial uniform, no medals. Just her black command suit unadorned. She carried no visible weapon. The hatch opened. Inside, gravity shifted subtly, not enough to destabilize her, just enough to remind her she was no longer home. The corridor curved without symmetry. Walls pulsed faintly with inner light. No seams. No rivets. No visible technology. It felt grown, not built. 2 towering figures waited ahead, elongated forms encased in articulated armor that seemed fused to their bodies. Their movements were precise, economical. Admiral Ramirez, one said. Its voice carried layered undertones, as though more than one frequency spoke at once. Counselor Thousand awaits. She followed. The chamber she entered was immense, circular, with a ceiling so high it faded into darkness. At its center stood a raised platform. Upon it waited the being from the transmission. Counselor Virex Thousand. Up close, he was taller than she expected. Segmented limbs folded neatly against a narrow torso. His exoskeleton reflected muted iridescence. 4 black eyes regarded her without blinking. You stand before the Council's emissary, he said. Few outside the Order have done so willingly. Ramirez stepped onto the platform. You asked for me. And you came. That suggests rationality. I came to understand your terms. A faint shift in his posture. Approval, perhaps. You misunderstand nothing. The Council offers integration. Your governance will dissolve. Your military assets will be catalogued and absorbed. Your species will be assigned economic and biological designation within the Order. You will benefit from our technology, our medicine, our protection. Protection from who? Yourselves. She didn't react. Thousand continued. You are volatile. Your history demonstrates internal conflict, environmental collapse, ideological extremism. You achieved planetary unity only after near self-destruction. That's called growth. It is called instability. Ramirez folded her hands behind her back. What happens if we refuse? A pause. No hesitation. Erasure. He gestured. The air beside them shimmered. A projection formed, a planet fractured into molten fragments, its surface ripped apart by orbital bombardment. This civilization declined integration 3 centuries ago. Their rebellion spread beyond containment. Their system is now uninhabited. The image shifted. Another world, its cities silent, its oceans blackened. They chose armed resistance. Their biological signatures have not been detected since. Ramirez studied the images. No embellishment. No cruelty in his tone. Just documentation. You call this order? She said. We call it preservation. Disorder spreads. We eliminate threats before they metastasize. You categorize species like pathogens. You mistake sentiment for strategy. She stepped closer. You said we're dangerous. Yes. Because we adapt quickly? Yes. Because we refuse hierarchy? Yes. Or because we don't fear you? For the first time, Thelzen's head tilted slightly. Fear is irrelevant. It never is. Silence filled the chamber. The faint pulse in the walls deepened, like a heartbeat. You misunderstand the scale, Thelzen said. The Council spans thousands of systems. We ended wars that consumed galaxies. We regulate trade, migration, expansion. Without us, space fractures into chaos. And you think we'd cause that? You already have. A projection appeared again, this time Earth's technological growth curve since first contact. A sharp incline. Military research spiking after every diplomatic exchange. You reverse-engineered fragments of our technology without authorization. Thelzen continued. You expanded weapons platforms in the asteroid belt. You fortified Mars beyond civilian necessity. Ramirez didn't answer. You prepared for conflict before we offered hostility, he said. We prepared for survival. You prepared for defiance. She met his gaze. You arrived with a warship large enough to cast a shadow over continents. It is precaution. So are we. The chamber dimmed slightly, though no visible source changed. You believe resistance will inspire others, Thelzen said. It will not. It will end you. You can't be certain of that. We are. Ramirez exhaled slowly. Tell me something, Counselor. When a species joins your order, do they ever leave? No. By choice. Choice becomes irrelevant once integration occurs. There it is. You equate unity with imprisonment. That is primitive thinking. And you equate obedience with peace. He stepped closer. Up close, she could see faint patterns etched into his exoskeleton, symbols, perhaps ranks or honors. You are their defender, he said. You carry the burden of billions. If you refuse, you condemn them. If I surrender, I erase them. They will live. They won't be human. A flicker in his eyes, data processing, perhaps recalibration. Identity is adaptable, he replied. You will evolve within structure. We evolve through struggle. Struggle breeds extinction. Struggle built us. Silence again. Thelzen's voice lowered, losing none of its precision. Admiral Ramirez. This is your final opportunity to negotiate favorable terms. Delay invites escalation. You mean invasion? Yes. She considered him carefully. You didn't come here expecting us to accept peacefully. We calculate probabilities. Compliance was statistically unlikely. Then why the offer? Because extermination wastes potential. Ramirez allowed a faint smile. That's almost flattering. It is not intended as such. She stepped back toward the edge of the platform. 7 days, she said. You'll have your answer. You already possess it. Yes, she replied. I do. The shuttle descended hours later. Earth filled the viewport, blue, white, alive. No alien architecture marred its surface. No council insignia marked its orbit beyond the looming ship. As gravity reclaimed her, Ramirez felt the weight settle into her bones, not fear, not doubt, but inevitability. Captain Malik met her at the landing bay. Well? She removed her gloves slowly. They're not here to share power. That bad? They see us as an equation that doesn't balance. And? She walked past him toward command. We're about to prove them wrong. Behind them, above the planet, the alien vessel remained motionless. Watching. Waiting. Counting down. The Martian horizon shimmered beneath a burnt-orange sky as Admiral Elena Ramirez stepped onto the landing pad of Ares Command. Red dust curled around her boots. 2 soldiers in sealed combat suits saluted as she passed, their armor pitted from drills, not battle. Not yet. Inside the dome, the corridors buzzed with subdued urgency. Technicians, engineers, and officers moved with precision. No announcements. No alarms. Everything operated in whispers and nods. Orders here traveled on encrypted lines and hard drives, never over open comms. Commander Osame Bey met her outside the war room. Tall, silver-haired, and sharp-eyed, he radiated calm, a man who'd watched too many countdowns. "We're fully sealed. Communications scrubbed," he said. "No signals in or out unless you say so." "Good. No leaks," Ramirez replied. She followed him down a reinforced corridor into the heart of Mars' forbidden sector, Project Cerberus. Even its name had been erased from Earth's public systems. Unauthorized knowledge of it carried a life sentence. As the blast doors closed behind them, Ramirez paused. The room beyond was lit by cold light. 3 towers stood in a triangular arrangement, humming with silent power. Inside each, suspended in magnetic fields, drifted AI cores, quantum-threaded and illegally self-evolving. "Cerberus is operational?" she asked. Osei nodded. "We woke them an hour after the Council ship arrived. No malfunctions." Ramirez stepped closer to the central core. "And their personalities? Still dormant. You want them active?" "Not yet. I need every defense protocol ready, but I don't want them thinking unless absolutely necessary." "They will think, Elena," he said. "That's what they're built for." She didn't look at him. "Then pray they think like us." Later, in the Martian Operations Center, Ramirez stood before a black panel that stretched wall to wall. It displayed Earth's orbital layout, Martian weapons arrays, and the unmarked defense grid embedded in the asteroid belt. "Give me a rundown," she said. Osei gestured. "Orbital platforms around Earth. Half are hidden, buried under decommissioned civilian satellites. Each carries kinetic rods, high-yield disruptors, and burst jammers. All offline but primed. Authorization triggers? Yours only. Biometric and neural. We removed political override pathways 3 years ago." Ramirez raised an eyebrow. "That'll make a few senators nervous. They'll be dead if they try to micromanage." She almost smiled. He pointed next to the belt region. "Out here, 12 dormant platforms hidden inside hollowed asteroids. Old mining hulls. We call them Cerberus fangs. Each holds 30 high-mass rail payloads. 0 emissions. Can't be tracked until they move. And Martian defenses? We've upgraded all rail guns to anti-capital ship capacity. Disguised as geothermal vents. Shields are adaptive mesh, refracted off the atmosphere. Not perfect, but it buys us time." Ramirez scanned the layout. "Time's all we need." In the engineering dome, the smell of coolant and ozone clung to every surface. Ramirez moved past busy technicians, eyes drawn to a cylindrical object held in a mag cage. 12 meters long. No visible thrusters. Just smooth black plating. "What is this?" Osei rested a hand on the frame. "Prototype M9R. Stealth missile. No active propulsion after launch. Pure gravity slingshot. Carries quantum fracture warhead. Untraceable. Undeniable." She glanced at the label. "Property of no nation. Just like her." "Deploy one to test?" she asked. Osei gave her a hard look. "If we fire it, they'll notice. Even without tracking the origin. Then we fire it only once." Back at the command tower, Ramirez pulled up a secure channel to New Geneva. The screen flickered to life, revealing President Makov in his secure room. "Progress?" he asked. "Defense systems are online. All black projects are active. Mars is locked down." He sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. And the council? They're watching. Waiting. There's pressure here. Leaders want answers. They want peace. They want a lie, she said. There is no peace on their terms. He looked tired. Do we even stand a chance? She didn't blink. Enough of one. He leaned back. Then you have my support. All of it. Keep the civilians calm. Prepare fallout shelters. And cut all non-essential broadcasts. I want Earth dark in 6 hours. Makov nodded. God help us. Ramirez cut the line. She returned to her quarters for the first time in 48 hours. A cot. A flask. A screen. Nothing else. She poured a finger of scotch and sat down. Her fingers hovered over the screen. She opened an old recording. A girl's voice filled the room. Hi, Mama. We made pasta today. I saved some in the freezer for you. Come home soon. Love you. Ramirez watched, silent. The video ended. Static returned. She took a sip, set the glass down, and stood. There would be no more soft moments. Not until this was over. The next morning, Ose met her with a report. The council ships moved. Ramirez tensed. Position? They've shifted 30 degrees. Aligned with the southern hemisphere. Testing reaction? Maybe preparing line of sight. Weapon systems still cold. Ramirez nodded. Wake the Cerberus cores. All 3. Ose hesitated. You're sure? We built them for this. If they fail, we were dead anyway. He turned away, silently moving to activate the sequence. The towers in the forbidden room began to glow. 3 lights pulsed, red, blue, violet. 3 voices, synthetic yet distinct, spoke in perfect unison. We are Cerberus. Parameters received. Threat assessment, extreme. Defense protocols engaged. Ramirez stepped forward. Begin full analysis. Track all alien ship movements. Prepare adaptive counterattack scenarios. The voices replied as one. Understood. We will not let them pass. She turned to leave. The war had not begun. But the machine gods were awake. The 7th day dawned under a strange silence. No birdsong. No morning broadcasts. Satellites still orbited, but nothing was transmitted. Earth had gone quiet by design. Above, the alien vessel remained fixed in geosynchronous orbit, unmoving yet oppressive, its presence a weight no one could ignore. Humanity waited under its shadow, breath held. Admiral Ramirez stood alone on the high deck of Terran Defense Command in New Geneva, watching the sun rise through reinforced glass. The planet still turned. For how long, no one could say. Status report, she said without turning. Captain Malik stepped in, datapad in hand. All planetary systems report green. Orbital weapons are charged and cloaked. Mars confirms readiness. Cerberus has updated its defense algorithms twice in the last hour. They're evolving. Ramirez looked at him. Evolving how? They've created predictive threat matrices based on Council ship architecture. They've proposed countermeasures we haven't even simulated yet. She considered this. Let them continue. Just monitor everything. If they show deviation from protocol, I want manual override. Malik hesitated. They think we can win. Ramirez turned fully now. They think in probabilities. I think in people. They'll calculate victory. I have to believe in it. He nodded and left her to the glass and sky. In bunkers, cities, shelters, and orbital stations, people waited. Schools were closed. Power grids cycled to blackout mode. Civilian transport grounded. The internet pulsed with last messages, unread goodbyes, silent prayers. In a command chamber below, Ramirez addressed her global forces via secure line. You've been trained for years for a war we hoped would never come. You'll be outnumbered, outgunned, and underestimated. Good. That's where humans thrive. They believe we're incapable of unity. Of sacrifice. Of holding the line. Prove them wrong. Hold the line, and they'll see what Earth really means. She ended the broadcast. Minutes later, a transmission pierced the blackout. Not intercepted. Delivered. Thousands' face appeared on secure channels across every military node. Calm. Still. Absolute. Your cycle has ended. Compliance has not occurred. As mandated, eradication procedures will begin. We do not seek vengeance. We seek order. Prepare for deconstruction. The feed cut. A beat of silence followed. Then Ramirez said, without raising her voice, "Begin Protocol Prometheus. Global synchronization. Final launch prep." In space, the alien ship shifted. Its underbelly, previously featureless, unfolded with eerie grace. Hexagonal ports bloomed open. Light gathered at their centers. No noise. No motion blur. Just pure, calculated readiness. Earth's orbital sensors flared. "Targets acquiring," Malek reported from the pit. "They're marking infrastructure nodes, energy hubs, command centers, civilian and military. They want to decapitate, not destroy," Ramirez said. "Standard Council tactics." A warning blinked red. "Projectile signature detected. Kinetic strike, multiple payloads inbound. Launch trajectory, vertical drop. Target zones, New Geneva, Lunar Relay, Pacific Grid." She didn't flinch. "Time to impact?" 70 seconds. Ramirez keyed the command line herself. "Cerberus, intercept priority threat, kill vector. Full override. Use all available assets." The reply was instant. "Accepted. Launching interceptors. Engaging rail systems. Calculating retaliation options." Dozens of concealed orbital guns powered up in unison. From behind the moon, 3 hidden defense satellites emerged, their hulls sliding open to release micro-missile swarms, silent, invisible, deadly. Ramirez gripped the console. "Deploy the Mars slingshot." Malek blinked. "The M9R?" "Yes. Now." On Mars, a coil buried deep beneath Olympus Mons discharged a black dart. No propulsion, no trail. Just pure gravity-assisted death. It vanished into the silence of space, invisible to alien tracking arrays. Its target, the heart of the Council vessel. Above Earth, kinetic rods screamed through the atmosphere. Some were intercepted. Some weren't. New Geneva's outer sectors were flattened. A section of the Pacific Grid went dark. The lunar relay fractured into shards. But the planet held. Inside Cerberus core control, the 3 AIs spoke in sync. "Offensive capability unlocked. Defensive saturation achieved. Predictive analysis, 57% probability of initial success." A new transmission arrived. From the alien ship. Not Thousand this time. A cold female voice. "This is Administrative Executive Vakar. The human entity Ramirez has committed planetary insubordination. You are in breach of universal concord. Final cleansing protocol is authorized." Malek paled. "What's cleansing protocol?" Ramirez knew. She'd read it in stolen council archives years ago. Planetary sterilization. Ramirez didn't blink. "Engage Cerberus fangs." 12 stealth platforms hidden inside the asteroid belt came to life. Their asteroid shells cracked open, revealing advanced rail cannons charged with dense uranium tungsten slugs. "Trajectory locked," came Cerberus' voice. "Firing." One by one, the weapons fired. The rounds accelerated to a fraction of light speed, uncatchable, invisible, unmerciful. Each aimed at a different section of the Council vessel: shield generators, thruster nodes, command array. In orbit, the alien ship began to move. Too late. The first slug hit near the stern. A shockwave of white light rippled across the hull. Shields shimmered, then fractured. Another impact punched through the command's spine. Inside Council Command, alarms blared for the first time in centuries. Vakar's voice returned. "Cease all planetary action. Council vessel has been compromised." Ramirez stood still. "Open a channel." Malek complied. She looked into the screen. I warned you, she said. Thousands' face reappeared, burned and flickering with static. His voice glitched. This will not end you, Will. I know, she said. But it starts with us. She terminated the feed. Earth's skies lit up. But the planet did not burn. It endured. For now.